Hi everyone, my name's Mark. I'm the Managing Director of Speaking Schools Australasia. I, as a child, always hated public speaking. I would avoid pretty much every opportunity that was given to me, up until about year 9 when my mum forced me to go and do a public speaking program at school. And that just opened up this brand new world to me. Essentially, from there I joined drama, I started debating at school, I did a whole bunch of public speaking competitions, and it took me through university where I represented Macquarie at various different national and international competitions. And I've just come to really love and enjoy the idea of public speaking and debating. So Speaking Schools started back in about August 2014 when my friend Dan and I, who were good friends from the Macquarie University Debating Society, got together and made the decision that we wanted to start a debating and public speaking education company because there was no good options that existed on the lower North Shore of Sydney, which is where we lived and where we worked. And so we spent about 6 months setting it up and ran our first set of programs in North Sydney at the beginning of 2015. We then spent the next year looking at different options and running more holiday workshops before we started to expand things, firstly to Parramatta, but then through other arenas as well during weekly term programs. In 2014, I was a lawyer. I was a graduate lawyer at a firm in the city, and throughout my time there, I never quite gelled particularly with the idea of being a lawyer. So whilst I spent 3 years working as a solicitor, it was something that I never particularly got into and never really interested me. Partly because I didn't find the work hugely rewarding, and I much preferred doing stuff that I'd done throughout my university years, like coaching and tutoring and disabilities caring and stuff like that. But also, I found the work a little bit monotonous and repetitive. I found that being a lawyer wasn't what I hoped it would be and wasn't as exciting as I would have liked for it to have been. So I started Speaking Schools as kind of what is commonly referred to as a side hustle, a small project that me and a friend were just going to work on the side while we did the rest of our career. But over the years, as I was doing that, I found that I was enjoying the Speaking Schools element of my life far more than I was enjoying my work. And so after about 3 years of making that journey, I decided now was the time, and I left the world of law and began running Speaking Schools as a managing director full time. I think the most rewarding element of working and running Speaking Schools is the fact that we have been able to help so many students, so nearly, we're approaching 20,000 students, improve their public speaking skills and build their confidence. And that is just a far bigger impact than I thought we would ever see. And just watching the way that the children kind of come through the programs and develop from one program to the next, but also watching our coaches and the wonderful work that they do. It's just amazing to watch, and it's something that genuinely warms my heart every time I think about it. It's just fantastic. I think my favorite part of public speaking is the ability to really think through the ideas that I want to express and beliefs that I have about the world, and being able to put it into a particular structure that allows me to present it to the rest of the world, and to have other people listen to what I have to say, listen to the opinions that I'm able to bring, and then provide me with feedback and their own thoughts on how they perceive my opinions on the world. Whilst I always kind of hated public speaking and debating, I did come from a family of 6 kids. And because of that, and I'm the eldest of those 6 kids, and that meant that being assertive and to a degree argumentative was a necessary element of living in our household. And so I've always kind of enjoyed the opportunity to kind of spar with words against other people. It's something that I did all the time when I was a kid, and I think it's something that I've really taken through life and something that I really still enjoy now. Debating really helped me through school because it really brought me out of my shell. I was a very shy child. It was something that I didn't enjoy, and kind of becoming more confident with my public speaking allowed me to kind of volunteer my opinion more often in class. It allowed me to do better in assessment tasks that related to that, but it also helped me do other stuff like organize my ideas a little bit better, which I found really, really useful throughout school and then on through life as well. One way I found that debating in particular really helped me at university was it allowed me, using the different structures that I learnt through debating and practiced through debating, it meant that I was able to apply those in other essays and things that I did through university, which made a humongous difference to the mark that I received. It also made going through university from an academic perspective a lot easier because I understood how arguments functioned and was able to make them quite easily. The other side of it though is that I made a lot of really good friends and in fact met my wife through debating as well, which I feel has helped me through life more than anything else. So as someone who runs a small business, I get challenges every day. And the ability to articulate my position and my thoughts and explain it coherently to others, both within the organization and externally from the organization, is a game changer for me. It means that I'm able to kind of get the ideas across and bring people around to my perspective. But more than that, it also allows me to appreciate good arguments and good ideas when I hear them, which means that I'm much more accepting of those ideas rather than getting stuck in my own lane and sticking with my way or the highway. I've been coaching generally for the last 15 years or so, but public speaking and debating for over the last decade, a little bit longer than the last decade. And through that time, I think the thing that I've always taken with me is watching children develop. So taking them from the beginning of a term or the beginning of a competition or the beginning of a program and watching them take on the ideas, engage with the concepts, practice those skills, and then use feedback to kind of improve their own speaking skills and just kind of watching children kind of flourish as speakers. One of the things that I love watching is the parent presentations at the end of every term, because I often go to the same venues and watch the same students because they re-enroll, and watching them kind of grow from one term to the next is just a beautiful thing to be able to see, and it's something that I really love about my position here at Speaking Schools. Something that I always tell new coaches, and something that I've always believed very strongly, is on the path of learning something new, you learn something, but you only truly understand it when you're able to teach it to someone else. And that is just such an important element of particularly public speaking and debating, is you understand the concepts, but until you have to explain it to someone else, or teach them, especially if they don't quite understand the first or second time that you try and explain it, it means that you have to delve really deeply into the idea to make sure that you really understand it before you're able to present it. So I think that virtually every element of public speaking, I understand better and I have learnt to do things better as a result of being able to coach and teach it, because that is where understanding truly stems from. So there are lots of important things to remember whilst working with kids. I'd say the thing that I prize above most things in the way that I like to teach is patience. The idea that children might not get it the first time, they might not get it the second time, but if you are persistent with them, if you are kind to them, if you make sure that it is enjoyable and that you remember that if they're not understanding, that isn't a fault with them, it's a fault with you, that patience is the best way to get the concepts across, even to students who have a little bit more difficulty understanding how a certain idea works. I love working at Speaking Schools Australasia, and I love it for so many different reasons. I love working with the people in the management team who are all wonderful. I love working with our excellent coaches who bring new perspectives and fantastic coaching ability every day. I love working with the kids within the organization who just amaze me with everything that they're able to do and kind of the resilience and confidence building skills that they personally show. I also just love the fact that no 2 days are the same. There are always different challenges that we need to tackle within the organization, and I find it really interesting that when I get into the office at the beginning of the day, I genuinely have no idea how the day is going to play out, and that makes it really exciting for me. I have so many fantastic memories of working with Speaking Schools. This is a really, really hard question. I think one of the fondest memories I have goes back to our first ever holiday program. And at that time, I was working as a lawyer, and I took a sick day and came into one of the programs just to see how everything was going, and just being there and seeing multiple classes of students learning public speaking, learning debating as a result of kind of the efforts that we had put in to getting the business to that point was just fantastic. It was just a really nice moment for me. I've had so many wonderful moments, but I think that one is the one that comes most to mind. Don't be afraid to ask for help, or don't be afraid to ask if you have any questions about what's happening. The first thing is I would let them know that it doesn't need to be scary, that this is actually going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of activities, and if they don't want to do the first couple, that's okay. We'll warm into it, we'll get used to it, and then we'll engage with it a lot more. That's the first thing I'd say to them. The second is I ask them what they're scared of, and usually it's looking at something to do with a social anxiety, so that they're going to be laughed at or something like that. And in my decade plus experience of coaching public speaking, I don't think I have ever seen a child laugh at another one who wasn't kind of being humorous in their speech. Everyone understands that it can suck to give a speech. Everyone understands a little bit of fear when presenting speeches, and so audiences are much more accepting and the sky isn't going to fall in. But the only way you really come to understand that is by practice. So making sure that they come in, give it a try, and have a couple of attempts will children understand that. Finally, I think that if a child was nervous, you just make sure that you introduce them and make it personable. So this is your coach. They're going to be working with you for the next couple of days. If you do get scared or worried, just let them know and they'll come and get me and we can have another chat. And those are the main ways which we try and make things more comfortable for the students in our programs. I wish I had known when I was much younger, before I kind of got into public speaking and learned that I had actually quite enjoyed it. I wish that I would have had the opportunity to tell myself that it doesn't need to be that scary, and that the stress and anxiety that you feel around public speaking is something that you can channel into so taking that nervous energy and you can channel it into the energy with which you give that speech. And it can actually be that little adrenaline rush can actually be something really enjoyable and nice to experience. And I really wish that I had understood that at a younger age, because I would have gotten much more into public speaking and debating from a younger age and had more wonderful experiences in this area. There are so many ways that debating and public speaking has changed my life. The main one would be it is where I met my wife. I feel that is definitely the biggest way in which my life changed as a result of debating and public speaking. But in other ways as well, I think it's made me better at expressing my views. It's provided me with the career path that I've chosen of running an organisation like Speaking Schools. It has given me lots of other opportunities in life to kind of engage with other people, make new friends, and kind of look at perspectives that I wouldn't otherwise have looked at. which is a particularly important element of debating. I think that there are thousands of ways that debating public speaking has improved my life, and I am genuinely so glad for all of them.